Hi, this is Neil Clements, and this is The Real Deal with Neil. Today, I just got back from a mastermind in the beautiful Grand Teton Mountains of Jackson, Wyoming. I was able to go with Seth to the REtipster Inner Circle event that he and Dave just put on. And guys, let me tell you, it was an absolute blast. We were with 13 other land investors who owned high six figures to seven figure businesses. And what I wanted to do today is come and share some of my takeaways from that event, some things that I learned about my business, some things that I saw others struggling with and thriving with, and in general, just some market perceptions that we kind of heard from everybody throughout the course of being together for 4 or 5 days and doing hot seats and masterminds and growing together. So stay tuned and we'll get to the ahas. Number one, the first takeaway that I got from masterminding with these impressive investors was that the biggest land investors in the country, who are here at this event, they can struggle a little bit. Just like everybody's human, whether you're making $1,000 a year, $1 million, or $10 million a year, right? We all have struggles, and everybody struggles with their business at different points. Now, the struggles of a $10 million land investor versus a $10,000 land investor are going to be radically different. But at the same time, the difference between the two is that the $10 million land investor, even the $1 million land investor, their problems, they're going to get through them. And the reason that they're going to be able to get through them is in response to challenges, they're going to change markets. They're going to change their marketing to reach those markets. They're going to reprice properties. They're going to put more effort toward acquisitions, dispositions. They're going to pivot to new strategies, maybe buying from other businesses instead of consumers, or maybe going to subdivides or entitlements or niche opportunities to make money in land versus just normal flipping. Maybe instead of selling on cash, they're going to sell as owner financing. All of that was talked about at the mastermind of different strategies for different people. But what I just know from masterminding with these impressive people is that the market does not derail them. Even though we are in a very tough market for real estate investors, they are still producing at the highest levels that they ever have, and that's my business included. And so the biggest land investors in the nation pivot their businesses with the market, with the times, and they find a way to get through it and thrive through it. So that's number one. Number two, when they buy a dud or a project that they know that they're going to lose money on, they go ahead and they take that loss quickly, because the most successful land investors know that velocity of money is what makes money in land investing, especially land flipping, is that the quicker that you can get capital back with some kind of return, the quicker that you can deploy it into another asset. And so that's especially relevant for people doing smaller properties, buying for, I'd say, less than 100,000. Your objective is to turn that as quickly as possible, 30, 90 days, get that capital back, take the profit, whatever it may be, and then put it into another lucrative investment. And the reason this is relevant is because land investors are starting to lose money. We all have, at least the bigger investors, have a lot of inventory. And there's a lot of businesses that are just stuck and can't go buy new assets because of the inventory that they have. So what do? They stop marketing. They stop running the business, growing the business to try to sell the assets they have, which is necessary to do. I mean, you can't keep buying if you don't have anything to buy with. At the same time, the biggest ones in the country, me included, are going out and we are selling our properties, even if it has to be at a discount, just to get them moved, to get the money back, to put in more successful opportunities. You can't get stuck holding on to a dud and have that ruin your whole business. Get rid of it, move on, live to fight another day, and get that velocity of money turning. Number three, in general, a majority of the room was struggling more with dispositions or selling properties than we were with acquiring or acquisitions. Now, while we talked plenty about marketing strategies as far as acquisitions, everything from mailing to cold calling to texting to buying other people's, land businesses who are going out of business right now. In general, though, a small amount of time was spent on that proportionally to talking about how to sell properties. And that's because in this market that we're in, the true hurdle is selling properties. When we're in a seller's market, like we were for probably the past decade or 15 years, since about 2010 to 2022, so 12 years. In a seller's market, you have to be good at acquisitions. You have to be good at finding properties. That's where you make your money. In a buyer's market, which we are in and also going into in a lot of the nation, you have to be good at selling properties. And so it's no secret that we spend a lot of time figuring out how do we sell properties. And how do we make sure that our inventory moves? Because like I said, a lot of the bigger land investors are holding a lot of inventory right now and have to get it moved in order to replace it with better priced inventory in this market that we're going into. And so while this market is hard, and everybody in the room admitted that this market is harder than it was than the COVID-fueled free money timeframe. But other land investors that I've talked to and real estate investors have told me, well, this is just normal, right? Back before all the quantitative easing and the trillions of money printing, this is what real estate looked like. And so the irony is that a majority of land investors that I'm aware of who are hitting it big got into the business sometime over the past 10 years, and most of them even over the last 5 years. And so for a lot of us, we're experiencing this market normalcy or move from an intense seller's market back to normal and maybe to a buyer's market for potentially the first time. And so selling properties, like I said, has been in general more difficult than buying properties. And that's what we spend a lot of time masterminding on. The number 4, the most successful land investors in the country realize that they can't do this business by themselves. So what I mean by that is not only do they have staff, I mean, there was not a single person in the room producing high 6 figures and into 7 that didn't have a staff of at least an administrative assistant, a salesperson, transaction coordinator, if not multiple of each of those. You know, some of the people in the room had 30 to 40 people on staff. Maybe the smaller ones had like 3 to 4 people on staff, but they realized that they needed to leverage their business. They needed to grow their business through having staff because their efforts were only able to produce so much by themselves, and they needed to hire out so that they could have a higher dollar per hour. So not only did we talk about just buying and selling land, we also talked about how do you build the staff and how do you grow that to be able to get out of the mundane, get out of the lower dollar per hour activities and reinvest your time into higher dollar producing activities in order to grow the business. And the most successful investors realize that what they need is a board of advisors or a group of friends or a network of people who are doing what they're doing as well. Maybe some are ahead, maybe some are behind, maybe some are just lateral and you're looking right next to each other. But you need people to be able to look into your business and look into your life and to show you where your blinders are. Because the reality is that everybody, when they run a business, has a certain set of blinders that they just can't see past by themselves. But they don't realize they can just kind of look past it so easily. And what we were able to do for people in the room in the hot seat, when they shared transparently about their business's triumphs, struggles, revenue, profit, staff, etc., the whole board of advisors in the room, everybody who was there at the mastermind, was able to speak into that person's business and help them take off their blinders and see. And some people in the room sometimes get resistant. It's like, well, no, I don't want to do it that way, or I don't want to do this. But then you realize, well, you got 13 people who like are your peers who are telling you probably need to do it that way. All right, well, it's time to suck it up and do something you don't want to do. Or they come up with some new ideas. Like, for instance, there was a lady in the room, Denise, who recently got her manufactured retailer's license in Arizona where she was at. And for me, that really resonated. So I'm now going to get my retailer's license in Texas, because there's no secret that whenever you have a manufactured house, especially a new one on a piece of land versus just a piece of land without a house, not only is it faster and easier to sell, but also the loan terms are just drastically different. You talk about buying, say, a $50,000 piece of land, you go to a bank at 25% down, that's like $12,500 out of pocket, $12,500 plus closing costs, you're up to 15 or 20. Then you look at a mobile home, maybe now the mobile home on the same property sells for $225 after the new manufactured home was put there. You do 3% down plus 3% closing costs, and you're at the same figure, $15,000 to $20,000 out of pocket. And so when you look at it that way, you're essentially creating affordability by putting manufactured housing on properties. And so that's what this mastermind just really opened up my eyes to see, is that there's ways that other successful land investors are doing this business that I'm not. And there's profit opportunities that I'm not doing that can move my properties faster, which is what everybody needs right now, properties that move faster through dispo. I'm just super grateful for being there. And so after this event was over, I connected with Seth and I said, hey, Seth, like, this was a blast. Like, thank you so much to you and David, especially if you're watching this. Thank you so much for putting that together. Y'all did awesome. It was a lifelong event that I'll remember for a lifetime. But I told Seth, I said, we've got to do this again. Like in this time when the community, a lot of people are struggling. We need this resource, we need this network, we need these hot seats, and we need this transparency for other people to be a part of it. And so for 2026, we put together the REtipster Inner Circle event in the Smoky Mountains near Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. And we're going to be doing super fun things. Hopefully we'll be able to get to go ziplining. We'll get to go to a few shows, maybe even like a whiskey distillery and some other just really fun activities that we have planned for this, in addition to being able to mastermind on a daily basis, really go in depth into everybody's business, and be together in a 12,000 square foot lodge in the middle of the Smoky Mountains. I mean, who would want to miss that? So anyways, this is my invitation to anybody watching or listening this, that if you feel that you're a 6 or 7 figure or even 8 figure land investor, and you want to be a part of this mastermind next year, this is my personal invitation to you to apply. All you need to go is to retipsterinnercircle.com. And on that website, Seth has a really fantastic video about past events, what this event will look like as well. We have the dates, we have the cost and the pricing and everything like that. And there even is an early bird discount if you sign up by the end of 2025 for our 2026 event. And so be sure to check all of that out. Like I said, we'd love to see you. And truly, I'd love to meet everybody listening to this in person. It's great for me to be able to talk into the camera and into the microphone and talk to you guys and share my knowledge with you here. But for me, I'd really rather meet a lot of you in person. So we'd be delighted to have you there. Go ahead and go to that link and apply now. And hopefully we'll see you soon.